And then the gods knock him down because he killed the king, and which pisses him off because he feels that's not fair, and he gets tossed into hell, as Steve put it, some kind of little grub demon, and he slowly, over hundreds of years, works his way up the ladder of hell until he's like a duke. And then he contacts the gods and says, okay, here's the deal. I will set up a situation to betray the demons and devils to you, so you can wipe them out once and for all. But my condition is that once that's done, I get to go somewhere and have a life that you never do anything with. Don't touch me again. Don't talk to me again. I want to be free of all this shit. And so he sets that up, and he does that.
This is all part of his background.
This was the backstory. Yes. And he does that successfully, and that's when he ran into the divinities.
That was part of him, or that's what you added to the story?
No. He said, and then obviously at some point I'm going to run into the divinities, and so immediately I'll be trying to figure out how I'm going to overthrow 5 infinitely powerful beings, and his original plan was he was going to set chaos loose and let it just wreck everything, and then he goes, and I'm not sure what happens after that, because if that succeeds and I destroy the divinities, then that's it. We've gone as high as we can go. And so we rolled the character up. We worked through some things. Obviously, that character had a weird character sheet. And then, like, when he successfully set loose chaos, and then he stepped back and watched the divinities start to kill each other, I said, and then he noticed high in the sky some twinkling little brass something. And that's where I stepped in. And he went up to see what it was, and that's when he found out that it was a role-playing game, and there was a higher power than the divinities, the player characters. And then he, in his role play, I was telling somebody this just recently. It was kind of funny because what my policy was, when someone approaches the brass plane, I pause the role play, and then I Blaine to player, I say, okay, how do you want this to work? Do you want to just you be here, just me be here, both of us be here? You want other people to be here? We can send him back down and remove his memories of any of this. This is your character. How do you want this to go? And Steve said he wanted both me and him to be there. And so we role played it, and he, like Ghandahar, stepped in and looked around and looked at the table with the charts and saw the names on the character sheets and stuff, and looked at Steve, and then he said, I don't understand how, but somehow you and I are connected. And I basically sat there the rest of that evening watching Steve talk to himself. And I watched Steve and Ghandahar begin to formulate we're going to destroy the connection between...
Steve, the person, was actually part of that strategy. That wasn't Ghandahar independently.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Not so much, it was like Ghandahar had the idea, how the fuck do I get rid of these guys? And then Steve had ideas of how to achieve that goal. Well, we need to do this, and we need to
So
do
we
that.
really can blame Steve. It's not Ghandahar to blame. We can blame...
Well, yeah.
He was playing his character.
Right,
And but in the moment where you meet your character, what are you going to do? Argue with your character?
See, now,
You want him to do what he wants to do.
I was amazed how every person handled the brass plane differently. Pruitt, which most of you don't know, but Pruitt said the same thing that Steve did. I want you to be there and me to be there, and that's it. And he did the same thing. His character, Amra, looked at the table, looked at the names, looked at Pruitt, and said almost the same thing. It wasn't were connected. It was like, you're me. And then Pruitt kind of went like that. And then I sat there for the rest of the night watching Pruitt role play inside his own head without talking out loud at all. So unlike Steve, I have always known his plans because I watched the role play as they're cracked. Pruitt talked to himself for almost 45 minutes. And I had never heard a single word. So I knew he had a plan and he was going to do something. But I didn't know for a while what exactly he was going to do. So in a way, initially, he was more threatening to me as a DM just because I didn't know. At least with Steve, I knew the steps he was going to take and I could prepare.
What did Pruitt do? I don't remember.
Pruitt and Amra decided that the only way to release the control that the players have over the world is to kill all the characters they play. So he was going
to cut the cord, basically.
No, he didn't talk about chords. He meant, so the only way to keep Dave Berryhill from manipulating my universe is to kill Francis.
Right.
So his plan was, he had a list in which he put everybody's characters in order from weakest to toughest, because he figured this is going to be hard. First of all, I got to get him alone. You know, I can't attack Francis when Ghandahar and Braddock and everybody else is standing right there. So he's got to get him alone and then kill him fast, no conversations, because he just felt like if conversation started, he'd lose control of the situation. And he wanted to start with the easy ones first because he felt like he needed to level up before he could handle the ones up at the top.
Did he do any of that?
No. No. About that time, Pruitt's amount of role play started going way down for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he never killed a player character knowing they were a player character.
Going back, I don't know that I realized Steve got the divinities to battle each other.
He used Chaos, who just likes to destroy everything, burn it all down. And he got them to deal with Chaos, but that almost immediately became a debate because each of them thought how Chaos should be dealt with was different. Like Law was like, well, let's just kill him. We imprisoned him the first time and he got out, let's just kill him. And then Good's like, we can't kill him. He's a life force of the universe, you know. So they ended up arguing with each other, which just gave Chaos more time to upset their other plans and stuff. So it wasn't like a war, it was more like a board meeting from hell.
So what was the outcome of that then? And did it affect the world?
The outcome was, as they were doing that, Steve discovered the brass plane. And after he discovered the brass plane, the divinities didn't mean nothing to him anymore. They were just tools.
They were part of the construct.
Yeah, they're just part of the construct. So he just didn't care anymore.
Wait, did he view the world as a construct, or did he view it as a world that existed but was being interfered with by these other entities?
Steve or Ghandahar?
Not good, great. I meant Ghandahar.
Ghandahar believed that the universe existed apart, that we had some kind of magic that let us reach into that universe and grab one person and take control of them. That was what Ghandahar thought it was. And so that's
But
why
obviously Steve knows better.
Yeah.
That if it goes away, it goes away. And it's funny, I don't know if you had an interaction on the brass plane, but I can't imagine Francis's first thought was, this is bad and we have to end this relationship.
No, it wasn't.
So,
didn't we all?
I think we all had. Oh, you mean have experiences on the brass plane?
Yeah.
I think so.
Not everybody for sure, but like the big gamers did.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah,
I was
that's what I meant.
told if my character was saying the things like Ghandahar was, I would have been like, dude, if we don't exist, you don't exist. So I'm surprised Steve didn't go down that path with him.
Well, I don't know if you remember
Probably don't.
your brass plane connection. We were playing at Steve's house in the basement, and it was one of those, everybody came into town for the weekend to role play, and you came up on the brass plane, and when I asked you, how do you want to do this? Just me, just you, both of us, whatever. You said, I want everybody who's here today playing there.
That
And I
sounds
said,
like a me thing.
and I said, okay. And then you did something that blew me away, that I thought was so cool. I said, okay, that's what we'll do. And you walked upstairs out of the basement as I walked back and sat in the DM chair and let them know what was going on. And then you came downstairs as Francis and looked at everybody at the table. And again, there was this long silence as you were processing. And I'll never forget, you're looking, and you looked at him at like with a, I think that's Braddock look on your face. And then you looked at your chair at the table, which was empty. And you stared at it for a few minutes. And then you walked over and sat down in the chair, and as Dave started talking to Francis. But the thing that was interesting was, Francis had questions. What is this? What's really going on? And when they got to the what's really going on, people hugely disagreed at the table. Ghandahar said, well, this is what's going on. And Paul was the first one to go.
I have a memory of this now that you're telling the story.
Paul was the first one to go, I disagree. That is not what's going on. Braddock has independent existence. And so you got to watch them debate.
I remember that.
Yep.
My trip point was when I got a hold of the hold and destroyed the entire Hobbit race. Is when I went, okay, this is not good. We have to. And again, Francis's viewpoint is we're cutting this off, which of course isn't what happens, but that's what he thought was going to happen when he supported blowing this thing up.
And I wrote that adventure specifically to force you to go through that.
And it screwed me up really good.
Yeah.
That was really great.
I was like, how do I get him to understand the power the players have? And I remembered that the holds could take any form. And I already had the holds all listed. This hold is this, and it's located here. And I decided I would make a hold that was the hobbits as a race. That just seemed cool to me. And then when that hobbit came to see the king, I don't remember what his reasoning was, but I had some kind of hobbit issue to talk to you. And you took the hold thinking it was the loop, not the person. And so you thought you just had another magic item, but later that night, for some reason, you destroyed the hold.
I changed it. I wanted to change
Oh,
the
yeah.
form. I don't remember what I changed it to, but I changed this
You
form.
changed it to a leather thing around your wrist. And you did that, and I'm over here as DM going, he just eliminated every hobbit in this campaign, but there's nothing going on in front of him to let him know that that's what happened. So it took a while before you started getting reports that something's happened to the hobbits. We don't know what. Something must have attacked them. And you were a good king. You wanted to find out who did it and deliver justice to them until that moment you figured out it was you. The look on your face when I believe Ghandahar was explaining how the holds work and stuff, and like he got enough data into your head that you figured it out, and the look on your face was crestfallen, and I was like, got him. Now he'll understand.
Did you think that would tip me over to help to supporting Gandhar's plan, or you just thought it'd be really great role play?
I'll be honest. This is the time to be honest. I thought the only chance in hell you guys had of stopping Ghandahar was Francis, because you had your own hold. You had access. I mean, for a lot of reasons, I was like, okay, the only chance they have of actually defeating Ghandahar is if Dave gets in on the fight. And at the time, your whole attitude was, I don't even think about the brass plane. I don't got to worry about that stuff. And you weren't in on the fight. And so I was like,
Was there a group of people planning on a fight? I don't remember that.
I mean, just the idea we have to stop Ghandahar.
Right.
And by making it in your face, then you're like, yeah, we do have to stop Ghandahar. And so the reason I did it was I thought if all the other people that have holds got together and said, okay, let's go kill Ghandahar, I didn't think they'd succeed. The ones who had holds either weren't anywhere tactically aware enough to fight Steve, because Steve was pretty, or they were so conflicted about what to do with the hold. Like when Chris got his trip to the brass plane, and I said, who do you want to be here whenever? He said, I want you to send him back and have him not know any of this stuff. So he was holding one of the 5 most powerful items in the campaign, and he chose to be ignorant of everything that was going on with it. Well,
Which kind of fit his character.
Oh, it fits his character,
And
but I
it fits
mean,
Chris probably too. I don't know Chris as well, but it fits
but
his character.
it did. But the thing is, Steve would eat him alive. I mean, before Chris knew what was going on, he'd be dead.